Fat news. Some people want to reduce fat in order to achieve their ideal body. Then, where does the ideal and the fear towards fat come from? Fat is sometimes associated with the bad health when we talk about fat in general. Today, I'll consider fat, which is highly victimized, especially after research was published in the US. Also, I had an opportunity to talk to researcher Lee McGuinness about the newly invented muffin, which may save us from the bad fats. Stay tuned. Restrictions of artificial trans fats are associated with a decrease in cardiovascular disease. A report indicates that some countries restricted the use of artificial trans fatty acid. Hospital admissions for heart attacks have decreased by 6.2% compared to the country without the restriction. This research was done by researchers from Yale University, University of Southern California, Los Angeles, University of Colorado, and University of Chicago. They analyzed the data of the countries' restricted trans fats compared with the non-restriction ones. Artificial trans fats were first banned at the restaurants in New York in 2006. 10 other countries initiated the restrictions between 2007 and 2011. Also, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration plans a nationwide restriction in 2018. So, do trans fats cause heart attacks? But what exactly are heart attacks and trans fats? Heart attack usually occurs when a heart doesn't get enough blood supply. One of the examples of many is when a blood vessel that carries blood away from the heart is obstructed due to the cholesterol plaques, resulting on the malfunction of the heart. The damage causes the symptoms of heart attack, such as chest pain, shortness of breath, lightheaded, and pale. Trans fats are usually produced industrially from vegetable oils. Those vegetable oils are fluids in room temperature, but by converting them into trans fats, they can stay solid in higher temperatures. Margarine, snacks, and packaged food are some of the products that can contain trans fats. Why do they cause heart attacks? Trans fats are blamed as a factor of heart attacks. This is because the excessive amount of trans fats narrow the blood vessels by increasing the amount of LDL cholesterol, which accumulate plaques on the wall of blood vessels. This makes blood harder to go through, and when it stuck, it causes diseases such as heart attack. Because of the association of trans fats and heart attack, trans fat was restricted in New York, and the restriction is considered to decrease the number of patients with heart attack. How about the situation in Australia? The government has a different concern. In some countries, including Australia, governments are not as eager to restrict trans fats. In Australia, people only consume 1/5 of trans fats compared to an average American in 2004, 2 years before the restriction started. Australian government claims this is well below the World Health Organization's recommendation, but they still encourage people to limit eating foods such as many biscuits, cake, processed meats, and other savory snacks. Those foods contain another kind of fat called saturated fat, and this is also a factor for cardiovascular diseases when consumed excessively. Add to that, our research indicates that the restriction of trans fat increased the consumption of saturated fat. So, victimizing trans fats may encourage people to choose butter rather than margarine, but natural fat also increases the risk of heart attack if we consume it too much. Isn't it great if we could reduce the risk of heart attack by eating a delicious muffin? This may not be a dream anymore. Recently, students from University of Queensland Food Science and Nutrition invented a muffin which prevents cardiovascular diseases. Cooperating with the students from business area, they are now getting feedbacks from customers. On the 11th of May, at a cafe in New Farm, Daniela, a student from University of Queensland, Master of Business Administration, introduced customers the cholesterol-lowering muffin.
Would you like to try? So this is cholesterol-lowering muffin. Cholesterol-lowering muffin.
My cholesterol's
perfect. Oh, but then you can try it. We're working with it.
According to Dr. Nima Gunas, a postdoctoral research fellow from University of Queensland Nutrition and Food Science, the newly invented muffin contains soluble dietary fiber, which reduces the amount of cholesterol. Since less cholesterol results in less LDL cholesterol, which can accumulate at blood vessels walls, the muffin is considered as a way to approach cardiovascular diseases, including heart attack. The restriction of trans fats in some countries reduce the patients with heart attack, but in Australia, we are suggested to concern about another fat. At University of Queensland, a cholesterol-lowering muffin was invented. Eating this muffin, as well as eating less trans fat and saturated fat, may save us from heart attack. It was about the bad fats, but this doesn't mean all of the fats are bad. They are essential for our body. The research and the government suggest not to eat too much because we are in a situation that allows us to eat excessive amount of them.